I got to tell you, it's never been worse in the NFL. The DEI was flowing through the halls of the NFL. We're talking about the need for full-time officials. Experience matters, and we told you then, and we'll tell you now. The product is going to suffer, and the product has suffered. Here's what the NFL did, and this is why your officiating has gotten worse. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. All right, let's be honest. We told you years ago, and this is not me being racist or sexist. This is me telling you exactly why. After George Floyd, the NFL decided that they were going to revamp. They said this publicly. They're officiating. Out with the old white guys, in with the new young guys, out with the old black guys, in with the new women, in with the new diversity. The DEI was flowing through the halls of the NFL. I mean, it was flowing. And again, the NFL came out and said, we're going to be younger and we're going to be more diverse. So here's what the NFL did, and this is why your officiating has gotten worse. They fast-tracked people, not just African-American or women, young white dudes, everybody. They fast-tracked it. Used to be, you had to have a minimum of 25 years refereeing experience to become an NFL official. Actually, to be considered to become an NFL official. They moved it to 5 years. And the guys and gals that you see on TV that got fast-tracked are so freaking arrogant that they have actually told older officials, Mark Bolts, you guys must suck. Took you 25 years. It only took me 5. That kind of arrogance, that kind of fast-tracking, I've been telling you for years because it's true. If you don't like it, if you think it's sexiness, misogynist, I don't care. You know, the truth of the matter is college basketball did this. The late John Adams, the head of officials, told me there were 2 years ago, there are 9 women officiating men's college basketball. 8 of them shouldn't be refereeing high school games, and the one that should be refereeing high school games should only be refereeing high school games. Hey, fine. Old white dudes make mistakes too. Old black dudes make mistakes too. But when you see things like can't get the coin flip right, when you see things like Tony Dungy and I were talking yesterday, Sunday Night Football, you don't get to say whether you want the ball or not and the side you're going to. When you screw up a coin flip in Germany with the Atlanta Falcons and the Colts, these dudes can't get nothing right. This is what you're seeing. Experience matters. I know in this country younger is better, and that's the dumbest thing that there is. Older equals wiser. 25 years to get into the league as opposed to 5. My God. Now, you saw it with the Colts, and Dungy and I spoke on this yesterday. You saw a pass interference that clearly wasn't a pass interference. Hell, you saw a kick, an extra point, go outside the goalposts at best, way outside the goalposts at worst, and called good. You saw a pass interference not called with one of the Colts players tackled. Even people that dislike the Colts are saying the Colts got job. I don't know. You play better in my book, but the officiating sometimes is a reason, not an excuse. Dungy and I, again, yesterday, were talking about the need for full-time officials. The need for full-time officials is absolute. You know, you can't be going and teaching. You can't be working on your insurance and all of a sudden, hey, look, I got to officiate a game in a billion-dollar industry that billions of dollars is going to change hands, careers, and lives get made. No, they're paying these guys enough money. There's enough to go around to say, look, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, we're going to watch every play as a group. All you 16 officiating heads for each crew you're going to watch, then each official's going to watch his, make it a full-time gig. Of course that's the way to go. But you know what? I had enough of watching T.J. Watt the other day. T.J. Watt is god-awful as an analyst on the NFL. I get it. He's T.J. Watt. He's Captain America, blah, 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 my ass. He sounded like the old linebacker from the high school that came back to do the public TV station analyst game while he just got done playing at Central State. He's a moron. No, he's not a moron. He's probably a really nice guy. But he's a moron when it comes to telling you things that you might not be able to see for yourself during a game. He's the worst analyst in sports, but he's TJ Watt or JJ Watt, whichever he is. He, of course, is against officials being full-time. He, of course, being the moron that he is, trying to appease everybody that he does, he thinks people have to realize officials are still human at the end of the day. No one's saying they're not human. Pay them a ton of money. Pay them a boatload of scratch. And then they can still be human, but at least they'll be good at their job. Watt has no idea about the officiating program that I just said to you. No idea. None. Zero zip. He has no idea. I guarantee you, if you sat him down and discussed, hey, TJ, DJJ, whatever the hell your name is, do you know that they got rid of a bunch of older officials for younger officials? Do you know that they bypassed better officials in the name of diversity? Do you know this? No. Do you not know that? You don't, but yet you're talking about it. You don't even know the system, the setup, what's going on, the history, and yet you're talking? Oh, okay. This Thanksgiving provided plenty of ammunition for fans frustrated with officiating. The Packers-Lions game featured a controversial timeout call where replay showed Matt LaFleur signaling for a timeout after a false start, not before, as the officials ruled. How about that? That allowed Green Bay to score a touchdown instead of likely setting up for a field goal. The Cowboys-Chiefs game was marred by ticky-tack pass interference call that heavily favored the Cowboys. That's not even getting into the universal disdain for the officiating in the Colts game, where many feel the Colts were jobbed. Many feel the Colts got the game taken away and the Texans didn't win the game. The Colts lost. I am not one of those. No, J.J. Watt's full of crap here. Here's what he said. I can be as hard on officials as anyone, especially when I was playing. You're full of crap. No, you can't. I didn't hear you say one interesting thing. That's like J.J. Watt is like the guy that read a manual on what to say. There's nothing interesting, nothing original. It shows that he did go to Central Michigan and he did go to Wisconsin, and he's a moron because he's just simply doing what people do. I could be as hard. No, you can't. I listened to your whole game. You were an idiot. You said nothing. Zero, zip, nada. Nothing. But I'm not convinced that full-time officials fixes the frustrating issue. Good for you, because you're an idiot. So if J.J. Watt thinks that he's not sure, then we should be sure. I mean, I listened to enough of this guy. I get it, awful announcing, and everybody's going to tell you how good. No, he's terrible. He said nothing of interest. He had a chance to be critical of officiating on the broadcast, and he did nothing. Nothing. You have to remember, these are still humans. Oh, okay, really? They can still be human and be full-time. In fact, being human and being full-time makes you, well, have the dream job of your lifetime, makes you rich because they're going to pay you a F-ton of money, and makes you better at your job. So everybody that sucks at your job, go out and say today, we're still human, right? There's an element of human error regardless of how much training, no doubt. No one's arguing that. What are you talking about? It's a difficult job. People don't realize how fast things are moving on that field. No shit. Really? God dang, JJ, you're an interesting guy. We never heard that before. Wait, hold on. I can be as hard on refs as anyone. You have to remember they're still human, and it's a difficult job. Really? Huh. So's this. The only job that's not difficult, JJ, is yours. You don't have to do anything. In fact, you say less when you are broadcasting a game on TV. Less is more. What other job does doing less mean you're doing a better job? JJ, you have the easiest job in the world, and you suck at it. We all realize how fast it moves out there. So why not put the officials, the league, the fans, the bettors? Hey, you got to put the bettors in a better spot. I mean, let's not bullshit. Let's not bullshit at all. I mean, put the bettors in a great spot. I mean, you got DraftKings all over the place. You got everybody making money. You got everybody betting. You got all these different things. FanDuel, all these different. I put bettors in a better spot. But JJ really gives us insight there. What a moron. Honest to God. Could it improve? Absolutely. Oh, well, again, here's, should we still be frustrated by missed calls? Absolutely. Okay. But there are a lot of judgment calls out there every Sunday, specifically pass interference and roughing that rely on a human being to use their best judgment in the blink of an eye on grown men moving full speed. It's very difficult. Well, no shit. Hey, man, that Central Michigan education, it shines through, baby. Oh, wait, I forgot. You went to Wisconsin for a minute. The bastion of drinking and stupid. Anyway, maybe, well, all right. It's very difficult. Okay, JJ. Maybe the NFL simply doesn't care. Maybe the NFL views the Monday morning outrage as part of the entertainment. Now, this is Bobby. This is an intelligent dude. Or maybe the league is too proud to admit its officials need this much help. Admits its officials need this much help to do their jobs. Either way, poor officiating has come to undermine the NFL product. It's a joke, and there is far too much money at stake from TV partners to contracts to legalize sports betting for the league to let this continue. Boom! That's what I'm saying. Every official that has any experience. I had a conversation 2 years ago, Labor Day, with an NFL official about this very thing. And they just laugh because of the stupidity. Because in the NFL, post-George Floyd, diversity, they said it, not me. Diversity and getting younger matter. And we told you then, and we'll tell you now, the product is going to suffer. And the product has suffered. You want to call me racist? Great. You want to call me sexist? Great. I'm just telling you what the league said. They fast-tracked a bunch of guys, white guys, black guys, women, got rid of the veteran guys. And this is what you got. Yes, it's a fast game, JJ. Yes, these are human beings, JJ. Now, okay, JJ, we patted your head. Yes, JJ. Why not have full-time officials? Why not pay a bunch of guys, girls, whatever, a lot of money and make it full-time? Makes sense. It's still a fast game. You're still going to make mistakes. So what? I mean, you got guys over there that are teaching school all week. Next thing you know, we got to do an NFL game. Guys are in their insurance. Mostly insurance and teaching is pretty much it. A couple cops, actually. And now we got to do an NFL game. Players are working all week. Coaches are working all week. Administrators are working all week. Referees, who have as much impact as anybody, and, oh, by the way, are as vulnerable as anybody to thieves, crooks, criminals, and gamblers. They're the ones not working all week. And I do know what they do all week. It's not like they don't do anything all week. They do. But the more J.J. Watt talks, the more we should go the other way. Honest to God. Jesus, Captain America. Think for yourself, son. Have a brain. You're getting paid a lot of money. Or are you just a guy that's on there because you're J.J. Watt? Jesus. Oh, boy. Hey, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. It's the holiday season. It's the best time for sports. It is every day, all day. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff push-ups. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day about what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's only one place where it feels good to be right, and that's Prize Picks. Is your fantasy season already over? My team is cooked. It is. My team sucks, and I'm bad at it. But with Prize Picks, I don't have to wait till next year's draft. Prize Picks lets you play fantasy every week, pick your favorite players, and win when they hit their projections every week. No draft required. Prize Picks, simple to play. Pick more or less on at least two player stats. If you get your picks right, you cash in. Also, there's a new feature alert. New feature alert. Prize Picks now has early payouts. Your lineup gets off to a hot start. You may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game finishes. My favorite thing about Prize Picks is picking multiple sports. It is. Multiple sports in the same lineup. With basketball back, I can put Jalen Brunson and Daniel Jones in the same lineup and root for both. And probably win, because Daniel Jones should be the MVP. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DAKICH, Dakich, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Here's a shocker. Aaron Rodgers throwing his teammates under the bus. I did not see that coming. Oh, my God. Nobody has ever seen that coming. It can't be Aaron's fault. Hey, he threw a little bitch fit on the field. I happened to be watching it the other day. His wide receiver went that way. He was supposed to go that way. He threw the ball this way. The receiver was over there, and he went all handsy. He showed the guy up. I don't blame him. There's nothing wrong with it, actually. But it appears that the Steelers and their fans are starting to get the full Aaron Rodgers treatment. The veteran quarterback used his press conference after Sunday night's beatdown, humiliating, ass-kicking, whatever you want to say, 26-7 loss to the Buffalo Bills. He was 10 of 21, 117 yards. Decided, I'm throwing my teammates under the bus. Here's Rodgers.
Last one here.
Aaron, it seemed like you and some of the receivers were off on some of the routes, the go ball to Roman, the one to Jonnu, where either the seam he settled down. There were some scramble drills that seemed a little out of sync. How do you guys build that connection this part of the year, and how do you kind of go through that with your pass catchers, where it's saying, hey, maybe I saw this, you see this, iron those out over the last 5 minutes?
When there's film sessions, everybody shows up. And when I check to a route, you do the right route, you know? Like, John and I just weren't on the same page. I checked to his in-breaker, and he ran out-breaker. John is a true professional, so I'm sure he's sick about that. But, I threw a ball I thought was going to get hit by the wind, and it was 4 yards over Roman. So that's a throw. I got to make that throw. But we have our meetings every week. We have other opportunities outside of the facility, and look forward to seeing all the boys there.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
There you go. All right. I ain't mad at you. Good for you. He completed 2 of 6 passes. That's the pass I was talking about. Dude went that way. He threw it this way, and he was pissed. I mean, pissed. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Is it falling apart or is it coming together? You never know in these instances. You really don't. Rodgers has enough cachet, enough equity that maybe somebody's going to actually listen to him. Maybe this is awakening for the Steelers. I don't know, but I do know this. Rodgers completed 2 of 6 attempts, 10 yards or more, finished with 4.8 air yards per attempt as the offense stretched the field more in the fourth quarter. At one point in the third, however, he was averaging, listen to this, a negative 0.8 air yards per completion. That ain't good. According to ESPN research, 5 of 6 completions were caught at or behind the line of scrimmage. Now, Mike Tomlin had to address the fire Tomlin chants. Boy, has this gone south. Here's Mike Tomlin addressing Fire Tomlin. I guess that's what they said. I don't know. Here he is.
A couple more.
What goes through your mind when there's a crowd chanting to fire you in your home stadium?
Man, I share their frustration tonight, man. We didn't do enough. And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, he's right. Good. That's a really good answer. That's a really good answer. Like, you know what? Hey, I sense their frustration. I feel it. He's not bitching, whining, and moaning. He's not being – I like Mike Tomlin a lot, always have now. I know Rex Ryan said the other day on Get Up or one of those shows that he would get another job were he to be fired in 2 minutes. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. I don't know. But I know this. It is getting sexy in Pittsburgh. James Harrison – now here's the deal. James Harrison's crazy. James Harrison's out of his mind. But here's James Harrison, the former Steeler legend, chiming in on Tomlin. Here we go. Kick a man when he's down. That's what assholes do. Here you go.
And as much as I hate to say this, I have never been a person that thought Coach Tomlin was a great coach. I thought he was a good coach. And I know the Steelers historically don't move on from coaches. But I think it's time that history be made, because right now, the only history we're making is being the worst Pittsburgh Steelers team statistically almost in the history of the organization. And when I think about this, bruh, and you go back and you look at the Chief, Art Rooney Sr., where he took this franchise from in 2. And then Dan Rooney continued the legacy. And to see it where it is now is incomprehensible, bro. The legacy of the 1970s steel curtain defenses, to the Blitzburgh defense of the 2010. And to see what it looks like now is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do it. Man. I mean, it is, bruh. Shut up. Just shut up, you Stephen A. Smith wannabe. Get out of here. Jeez, I mean, what? Oh, man, bro, I'm going to get you. Okay. Yeah, all right, baby. Okay, baby. Shut up. While you're here, make sure you head on over to youtube.com. Stephen A. Smith wannabes. youtube.com/@don'tatme with Dan Dakich to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our great content. And feel free to argue with each other in the chat. We like it. We get a kick out of it. Wednesday, we'll have a live chat tomorrow before the IU game. Yeah, I'll break it down. I'll get it done for you. All right, let's go, Sean. Where you at? Where you at, Sean? Smart take, dumb take with Sean. Give it to me, baby. What is this all about?
Yeah, I just want to play a little smart dumb game. Getting deep in the NFL season, it's time for us to actually be able to talk about it intelligently, I'd hope. So I got some takes for you, and then I hope you can deem smart or dumb.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's start off with the first take. Every team in the AFC North could be looking for a new head coach this offseason. Stefanski, Zach Taylor, Tomlin, Harbaugh could all be out.
Ooh, the key word there is could all be out. The answer that I would say is they should all be out. I said this about Big Ten football the other day, Sean. Big Ten football needs to get rid of these horse shit recruiters that they have. They need to get rid of all these old guys that have been in the league 100 years and do what Big Ten basketball does, infuse it. You're talking Taylor. It's a little unfair, hasn't had his quarterback, but results are the results. Harbaugh seems old to me, not in terms of personality, in terms of being there. Tomlin, well, I would say he's probably number one on the hit parade, and Stefanski, unless all of a sudden, I don't know, Shedeur Sanders turns into Tom Brady, I could see all of them be out. Will they all be out? No, I think somebody will survive. Should they all be out? Yep. Time to take out the trash, Sean. And I'm not fire the coach guy, but I ain't feeling sorry for these guys either, big boy. What do you think?
I mean, look, Zach Taylor is the most interesting here for me because he doesn't have Joe Burrow. We see what he's like with Joe Burrow, but I need an interim. I need the coach to be able to tread water without his guy. He went 1-8 this year while Burrow was down. Give me around 500, and then I think you can stick around. Then I think you're a pretty good coach. Smart take, dumb take. Number 2 here. Patriots, best team in the NFL. Smart or dumb take?
Patriots are the best team. I mean, what are you going to do? Look, we don't want to make them the best team. We don't. We wanted to say the Rams are the best team. Well, what happened this weekend? I don't know. Yeah, I got to tell you, if I were going to if I were going to play in a Super Bowl and it was going to be the Eagles versus the Patriots, I think I'd take the Eagles. I know the offense sucks, but there's something about the Eagles that I can't quit them. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Last night's game was over in the first quarter, 17-zip. Drake May is playing at a monster level. I haven't looked at the MVP charts today, but hell yeah, proof is in the pudding, man. We keep waiting. We keep waiting for them to crap the bed, Sean, and they ain't crapping the bed. Roll along, you BG Warriors, by the way, who got a big win last night at Kansas State in hoops. That's right. First Power 4 conference win since I was coaching in 2005. True story for Bowling Green. Next, what else you got?
Minnesota should give J.J. McCarthy the Anthony Richardson treatment this offseason. Bring in some competition and actually push him to see if he can be a starter in the league. Yeah, man. You got to. How can you not? I mean, unless this thing turns around here late in the season, I don't know how you can. It's not, I was going to say sell the fan base. It's not necessarily selling the fan base. It's selling the players. You played football. Players always know who's good, who's not. Players know who can help you win and who can't. And I got to believe in that locker room, Sean, those players are, they don't believe.
I don't think how can you? So, yeah, you got to bring in, hey, there is talk they want to bring Daniel Jones back on a big deal. I don't know, man, but I think you got to, don't you? That's automatic.
You can't have your quarterback neutralize Justin Jefferson. He's like the best player in football. And having the one guy to get him the ball, take him out of the game, can't happen. I think they need to push JJ as hard as they can this offseason.
Yeah.
Next up,
right?
I think so. The Cowboys, a bigger threat to make the playoffs than the Detroit Lions.
Well, I'm going to have to look at their schedule, but I'll say this. One of the things that you do as a coach is, yes, the schedule matters big time. It does, and I'm going to look at it, and I'll have it here for you. But what really matters is how you're playing. You want to put your team right now, you want your team to play like you know you can play with everybody and, in fact, beat everybody. Now, that's what you want if you're the Cowboys and if you are the Lions. I would argue, and you tell me what you think, but the Cowboys go through it, won 3 in a row. Ironically, Thursday night, guess who plays? The Cowboys at Detroit. That's going to go a long way, but let's look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys, that Detroit game, okay. Then they are at home for Minnesota, who stinks. The Chargers, who stink. They go to Washington, who stinks, although they got a good win. And then I tell you this, you can have Jackson Dart. I got 2 words for Jackson Dart. My ass. I like the Cowboys schedule. You can have him. Get out of here. He's horrible.
He plays hard. Come on.
He plays hard?
Yeah, he plays hard.
What? Isn't that the price of admission? Like, what? Huh? He plays hard? You're killing me.
Hard.
You're killing me dead. I know you're killing me dead. You're killing me. 35 years I chewed Skol. Why am I telling you this? Because Skol Yuma, or whatever the hell it is in Minnesota, is all the rage. And Michele Tafoya, nice enough to join me from the epicenter of the Somalian takeover. All right. We got all kind of fraud. The Somalis came in and they just taken y'all's cash in Minnesota. How can Tim Walz survive this? Seriously, how can he? What's going on?
I don't know, but there are similar things that I didn't think Tim Walz could survive, and yet here he is still running for governor on the Democrat side. There are countless Republicans jumping into this gubernatorial race because they see an opening here. They see an opportunity to flip the governor's mansion red. And so on my podcast, the Michele Tafoya podcast, please subscribe. I've interviewed, Let's see, I have 3 more to drop, but we've interviewed there are like 8 candidates that want to run on the Republican side for governor. So they are all a wonderful contrast to Tim Walz. Here's what's really rich about Walz. You may have seen him say over the weekend, Dan, he said, someone said, do you take responsibility for the fraud? And he said, I take responsibility for putting people in jail. This has nothing to do with him putting people in jail. He didn't do anything. It's been federal prosecutors. The state hasn't, maybe they helped a little bit after they realized how much deep water they were in. But Tim Walz hasn't put anyone in jail, so don't get it twisted.
You know, Michelle, one of the interesting things here is Democrats bitch, whine, and moan constantly about cover-ups, about Trump covered this, whistleblowers weren't listened to. Seems like Tim Walz, that favorite son, the effeminate male of the Democratic Party, seems like he kind of intimidated whistleblowers. Seems like all of this, again, is gaslighting by the Democrats because they're doing what they detest.
I couldn't agree more. You hear now from whistleblowers that actually one of the guys who's running for governor is named Philip Parrish. I don't think he can win, but he is running on the basis that he was one of the first to note the fraud and report the fraud. There are numerous people coming forward who said, hey, we said this was going on. We saw the growth in this. What started as a $2.6 million Feeding Our Future project turned into $106 million overnight. We saw that this was growing faster than NVIDIA, and we said stuff, and no one listened to us. The Somali community, which is disproportionately responsible for this fraud, is a key voting block. And people think you cannot win Minneapolis without that voting block. And if you can't win Minneapolis, then you can't win the governorship. So it's amazing to me that all of these people have been ignored, and they thought that this would just somehow not surface. Not only is it surfaced, as you said, this is now a national story, and quite frankly should have been when Kamala picked him.
Yeah, and I saw that Tim Walz actually went with the old line, "but Trump," in his little interview there, where he. How's this Trump's fault? What did he do?
It's not. It's not Trump's fault. This is Tim's MO. This is what Tim Walz does. He deflects immediately. Don't look at me. Look at this shiny object over there whom we can blame for everything because he's the president of the United States and we hate his guts. I mean, that's really all he's saying. That's his defense. And it's pathetic. And he's not the only one involved here. Our AG, our state attorney general, Keith Ellison, also involved. The lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, how can she get out of this scot-free when she was joined at the hip to the governor? So there are a number of people, I think, who can be implicated in this. But like everything else, it starts at the top. And when you know that Tim Walz was intimidating people, shutting people up, threatening them, it's so bad.
It's all right. Let's take this out. Not all Somalis are bad. Okay, we get that.
Not.
All right, we're talking about the people that are committing crimes here. So shut up with the whole you're racist. And shut up. We understand it's not all Somali, but there is like 59 people already charged in this, and they're all Somalis. Like, what are we talking about here?
It's really disheartening to see people resort to that "you're a racist" thing when the proof is right there. It is that community. And I've even seen people from within that community, very few, but some courageous, saying, come on, why are you trying to deny this? This is happening in our community. We talk about Feeding Our Future, which was the food services program. There's also a autism services program, and the allegations are, Dan, this is disgusting, that this group lured a number of Somali families to register their children as autistic. And if they did, then they could get a kickback of the take. So these families, if they register their child as autistic, they never received services, they never did anything with it, they just registered their child in these programs, they'd get anywhere from $300 to $1,500 a month. That makes a difference to most families anywhere. So you can imagine how it's just really despicable. And I can't believe that not every Minnesota taxpayer is not livid about this.
Two things. One, there is, correct me if I'm wrong, clear evidence that Walz and his guy, you mentioned Ellison and others, absolutely knew this was going on, one. And two, let me go back to you talking about a number of gubernatorial candidates from the Republican side. Does it water it down? Does this help Walz win since there are a number of candidates that are going to throw their hat in the ring?
No, because they will sift themselves out. We will be, going into an endorsement process and then a primary, and it will sort itself out. There's not enough money to get all of these candidates across the finish line. So there are a few that stand out. There are a few that are running on principle. So no, I think the cream will rise to the crop. The money will go to the leading candidate, and that person should have a real leg up. And there are two or three that really stand out that should rise to the top, and then a primary will probably sort that out.
What about Walz? No doubt anywhere Walz knew he should have stopped it, and he didn't, correct? No doubt.
If he didn't know, Dan, then he's as incompetent a governor as you can find in America. And we know there are a few of those. I mean, now you're starting to see the attention. People are saying out in California, saying, well, if you think that's bad, you should see what Gavin Newsom did, or if you think that's bad, look at what Kathy Hochul's done. So I think that this might, now that the New York Times, here's the funny thing. I was going to mention this to you, Dan. People in Minnesota have been talking about this for months, but it took a City Journal article, which was then picked up by the New York Times, to make this a major story. Like the New York Times suddenly has given everyone permission to now pay attention to Tim Walz and his negative record and this amazing, ridiculous fraud. So other governors that know what's going on in their state, they've got to be going, okay, wait a second, and be a little nervous. But the fact that we needed the New York Times to give us permission to really blow this story up is kind of pathetic, and it just shows you where the media is today.
Well, not only the media, but the people. I mean, the people should, you can make a case. You can put pressure on politicians. Let me ask you this, though. Okay, everybody, you, me,
but
we're talking about it.
Everyone was called racist when they did, Dan. Really quick,
right.
Everyone was called
That's
racist
right.
when they did because of the Somali community involved.
Yeah, that's that word. Yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, it's like no matter what you say, no matter what you do, who cares anymore? Yeah. I do want to ask you this, though, and I want to get to the Minnesota Vikings in a second, but you mentioned this. Somalia, big voting bloc in Minnesota. Minneapolis. You got to win Minneapolis to be the governor. I would assume that, I don't know, do Somalians care about this? Do they, hey, he's still our guy. He was trying for us. He tried to give us money. We don't trust people. We don't trust the media. We're going to vote for this guy because this is what he did to help us.
It's possible. It's possible. And the other part of this is the voting rolls for the state of Minnesota. The DOJ has asked them to be turned over because there's high suspicion that there are a number of people who are either dead or not legal immigrants here who are voting.
Can you imagine?
And the Secretary of State will not turn those over to the Department of Justice. That's the other part of this that is so intriguing to me is like, who is voting?
Yeah. And how many times? I mean,
how often?
We used to say in Chicago, vote early, vote often.
Yeah.
And away we go. So you got to bring in somebody, I guess. Maybe Daniel Jones comes back. But this thing with J.J. McCarthy, this seems ugly to me from an outsider. I don't know. Where is Minnesota? Where are the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy right now?
I don't know. It's bad. It's, the 1 minute he looks like a world beater, and the next minute he looks like maybe he shouldn't even be in the NFL, or at least a starter in the NFL. It's not a good situation. And so last week against Seattle, they had to bring in Max Bozemer, who's a University of Minnesota favorite. He was, one of these just tough guys from Minnesota who played quarterback at the U. I don't know what's going to happen, but to get shut out by Seattle, to get shut out, period, is bad in the NFL. I mean, you can't even score a field goal. So this is a point of reckoning for the Minnesota Vikings, and I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll hire Lane Kiffin.
Who doesn't want to hire Lane Kiffin? What'd you think of that whole mess? What'd you think of that deal?
Oh my goodness. It's funny. Monty Kiffin, his dad, was a great defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. I knew Monty very well while Lane was younger. And in fact, Monty coached with my late father-in-law. So my husband and Lane sort of used to play together as little tiny kids. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a sidebar. I think that the college football system, you and I have talked about it, is it's in such a shambles right now that this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And now that it's happened here, where the guy was about to take his team to the college football playoffs, God knows what's going to happen next. And it is about the calendar, Dan. They needed him at LSU when that January 2nd transfer portal opened. And it also, when there's a change in a coaching staff, that opens another portal for kids to say, oh, now my coach is different, I want to go. So all these portals, these conflicting portals, and all this stuff, which gives these players every opportunity to just flee. I have mixed feelings because, of course, if you have an opportunity to step up, I don't think it's just a monetary situation for Lane Kiffin. I think Ole Miss could have matched, right? Might have been able to match or come close. But at LSU, you and I both know it. It's the reality of it. You just have something special there, something magical there when it comes to college football. Everyone wants that job. Everyone wants it.
Yeah. I have a hard time. I'm not mad, or I don't feel bad for anybody. Players extort coaches night before games. I got coaches that say, they call me, you're not going to believe this. Guy comes in, says he's not playing unless we get him more money. I mean, so it's just literally insanity, and I'm not blaming anybody, and I'm not feeling bad for anybody. Guy got a $5 million raise, whatever it is, long-term contract, gets coached at LSU. That ain't bad.
And players, like you said, players do it all the time. Hey, I'm going to get more NIL money if I go down to Texas instead of Missouri. They're gone. So I don't know what people expect. I think Lane has a history that is sort of cloudy and has been bumpy. So everyone loves to attack him. That's fine. Do whatever you want. He can take it. He's got many millions of reasons to have a thick skin.
Never won a conference title ever in his coaching career. Not a conference.
It's something.
How about that?
It's something.
Jeez, 12-1's good though, but damn. Appreciate you, Michele. Keep fighting the fight out there.
Oh, I'm gonna fight. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate the cheerleading from you.
Yeah. I got pom-poms going. Go, Michele. Take down America's most effeminate governor, the representative of America's femininity in the male species, whatever the hell I'm supposed to say. I don't know. Oh, thanks to Michele Tafoya. Hey, go subscribe to her podcast, the Michele Tafoya podcast. Really good. If you want to know what's going on in the world, not just Minnesota, but all across the sports and political landscape, Michele's is fantastic. Hey, we'll be right back. We've got Randy Cross next. You know what? Randy Cross is a legend. He's a multiple Super Bowl champ. You see him on CBS. You see him all over the place. He's in New York, usually in California, surfing, doing that. But anyway, hey, Randy, got to ask you, before I get to other stuff, you got a new coach at UCLA. I think it's the best hire. I think this is Curt Cignetti, the number 2. I think this is a great, great hire for your school, UCLA. I do.
Yeah, that's what they're hoping. They're hoping that lightning truly does strike twice in the same place. I'm not sure how many repeat kind of go back to the jobs you've seen where a guy from a FCS, not FCF, but a lower level school goes to a school, is hugely successful, and the next guy, I don't know. I know that UCLA has much deeper problems than just the head coach. I mean, they've got I'll be nice and say marginal athletic director. They've got an administration that needs gutting. They have issues with their football program where it's not really a priority to the school, and that's blatantly obvious. So, yeah, they got a new head coach, and as an alum, my thoughts and prayers are that he gets a decent chance to be successful. But just remember, not only has this athletic director fired a coach or two, his predecessor made a living of firing football coaches because they weren't successful. And sometimes, you know what? You look around after that situation happens. Sometimes it's you, but that's never the conclusion.
It's
but
funny.
I digress. Sorry.
It's funny. If we would have switched spots and you'd have said to me a year ago, Indiana got this new basketball coach, but I'd be like, yeah, well, okay. I mean, we've seen this for years and years and years. Indiana has struggled since Bob Knight. Maybe it's so I do have to ask you about Indiana, Ohio State. Can Indiana, I'm watching Ohio State. I'm watching Indiana. I'm taking the Hoosiers on the money line, baby. But I'm a homer. What do you got?
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying for a few weeks, I thought that, just to be realistic about this, I thought that Indiana was the best team in the country. And I kind of thought that Indiana should be number 1 and just sort of go from there. Neither one of them have exactly gone through a murderer's row from a scheduling standpoint. One's played 2 ranked teams, one's played 3 ranked teams. It's not like the SEC schedule, which is completely different. But yeah, no, I like Indiana in this game. I just think that overall, from a line of scrimmage standpoint, they're going to be tough to beat. And I think that Mendoza he's going to be our Heisman winner for the year. And I think he is that good.
I agree. I think Sayan's good. I think both teams are good, but I agree with what you just said there. I agree with the breakdown. Let me go this route with you. I played basketball. Home court advantage is massive in basketball if you're good enough. You got to be good enough, obviously. How big, or does it not matter? As we roll into a playoff, how big is home field advantage in a college football playoff environment?
In that environment, last year we kind of saw something that surprised a lot of people with the resting teams having an issue. The home teams did pretty well. I think that's the great thing about most of these conference championships. They've got sites, and I like that idea very, very much. Now you can make a hard argument that playing in the Mercedes Dome is probably a pretty good advantage for Georgia because it's in their state. But then you'd look up and go, well, then why the hell is Alabama 7-1 of late?
Right.
So right. I think some cases it plays in pretty good. Other cases I don't think much of it. Now we've got our the group of 5 or group of 6 now. Those championship games are solely home contests, and I think that's something that you look at and you go, damn, that's a pretty good advantage.
Is Alabama out if they lose?
Probably. There's some that would argue they're pretty close to not being in right now.
Yeah, right, right.
I think Alabama's going to win that game. I think Alabama, just from the way they've been playing, looking at Georgia's not the normal Georgia. Their defense isn't that crazy, snapping all over the field, dominant team. The offense is really good and very physical. And damn, if they get 5 yards a crack against almost everybody the way they run. Their offensive line's playing a lot better. And if that's going to be the determining factor, who runs the ball better, I think then Georgia's going to win. But I think Alabama in that game is going to come out on top, and that's going to make a lot of things with the rankings go crazy.
I got to get your opinion on something. What's your opinion on officiating in the NFL? We saw it here in Indy. We've seen I was talking to Tony Dungy yesterday, and he was sarcastically just making fun of the fact that a lot of these guys, they can't get the coin flip right. Like we've seen that a couple times in a row this weekend. I mean, they changed it. They lessened the admission. It used to be 25 years. You had to be an official. After George Floyd, they went to 5 years. They got younger. They fast-tracked people in. I mean, what are your thoughts on the state of officiating in the NFL?
Well, I would go down to major college football to the NFL. We've never seen officiating this bad, ever. And it happens to be coinciding with, the major advertisers. Some of the major advertisers are gambling sites. So automatically, every time a guy makes a bad call in major college football or the NFL, fans, it's the first place they go. What do you got, a money line bet? What do you got? You idiot just ruined my bet. I had it all set up. That was going to be the first touchdown. They're in a lose-lose situation, but I think the most important thing that can be done is quality over all the other crap. It's got nothing to do. All the DEI type metrics that went into deciding who's going to be an official. Who gives a damn? Are they the best people out there? Because they are determining these games. And to watch on a Sunday or a Saturday night, these people just blatantly blow stuff. It drives me nuts. It obviously doesn't affect the people in charge because they go into the accountant's office and go, "Are we still making money?" Yeah, we are. Oh, okay, that's good.
It's funny and maybe it gets worse, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But ever since we saw, so many people have come on. I've always thought, my wife coached, she's like a legend in softball, time winningest coach at Syracuse, Bowling Green, Olympia, all this stuff. And she swears everything's fixed. She's like, it's all fixed. So now that every time there's a bad call, see, I told you, I have so many people after that latest gambling in the NBA are like, oh, it's fixed. We go to that now, don't we? We immediately go to it's fixed.
But Dan, it only happened in an isolated incident with a few of these basketball players that happen to be playing a little bit of poker, because football players don't play poker, and baseball players don't play pokers, and officials don't play poker. If they think that influence was only on basketball, you not only are delusional, you should probably be charged.
Honest to God, like I asked Urban Meyer one time, I said, "Hey man, can you fix football games?" How? He goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Referees can do it with every spot." Now, this is before all this stuff. They can do it with every spot. They can do it with every holding call. They can do it. No, it might be the easiest game because there's so many things. Now, I don't know. Television cameras are everywhere. So let me ask you. They were going to do it in college. They were going to allow kids to bet, on professional sports. I don't know. A couple guys for the Colts had their phones. They were in the locker room betting on a basketball game. Where are you at with players and gambling? I don't know. Where are you at with that? Legal gambling.
Yeah. I just think personally that's always been the one sort of firewall in sports. In sports. If you gamble, you're out. If and whether you want us to bring up a Pete Rose or whoever, it's always been a absolute, no matter who you are. And there is no gray area with this. That's the bottom line. Either you do or you don't. And you either can or you can't. And right now, there is no definitive line here where it says, here's where you can. No, you can gamble. Players can gamble on sports. And everyone says, well, they wouldn't gamble on their own games. Oh, yeah, of course not.
Please.
Yeah, I know it's really silly. There are so many things with our sports world that are cockeyed and overdue for a little bit of change. And that's just an itty bitty part of it. I mean, wait till all these college football rankings come out. Wait till Notre Dame Bigfoots everybody in the polls, a couple of which they lost already to. It's going to happen. It's not like maybe. No, it's going to happen. You can gamble on that too if you want.
Yeah, right. Hey, last thing before I let you go, you played in the NFL years and years and years. I'm going to go back to the officiating for a second. Should the NFL implement full-time officials? Tony Dungy mentioned that yesterday, and I thought, I didn't realize they weren't, I guess.
Yeah, I think the majority of football fans out there sort of assume they are. Ought to be no doubt about it. They ought to be full-time. They ought to be paid accordingly, and they ought to be held accountable. And it should not be a bell curve. Let's put it that way. It should be, hey, I'm the fifth best official on my in my state. Yeah, well, what's your percentage of what they grade you at? How good are you? That's the bottom line. So yeah, they should be full time.
Yeah, I agree. I think most people didn't. I mean, and I don't, J.J. Watt was saying, no, they're human beings. Okay, you can be human beings and be a full-time official. Yeah. You can do that. That's,
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the favorite lines when I was playing, Dan, you'll love this. Great all-time umpire. Guy was around forever. And he comes up to me and he kind of puts his finger on the sleeve of my jersey and goes, "What's that on your jersey?" And I said, "What's that, sir?" He goes, "Don't sir me. I'm a judge. People lie to me all the time." He says, "What is that? Is that silicone?" "No, sir, I wouldn't do that." He goes, "Oh,
No.
okay. Well, it's not, huh? Well, go out and change your jersey and come back in."
And, I wouldn't do that, sir. I wouldn't gamble, sir.
I'm
not doing that, sir. Eddie Haskell.
Yeah.
Eddie Haskell.
Yeah.
No, Mrs. Cleaver. I would never do that.
We don't encourage rules. That's currently in college football and college sports, at least. We don't encourage rules and things you can stick
What'd you
to.
think of Kiffin leaving? What'd you think of that whole scenario?
I thought it was the most embarrassment the game has suffered in quite some time. And
Tell me
that's
why.
saying something. That's saying something. It just augmented, I'm not for rules for everything, but you got to have some bogeys. You got to have standards. Players, coaches, they can pick up and go anytime they want. Is that really good? Shouldn't our calendar basically reflect in a sport that at the end of the season, if you want to change jobs at the end of the year when your job is done, then you can change jobs? How about, I know it's crazy, but how about that? How about we do that? This guy, and you know what? And the person that came out of this initially looking the worst was that student that he confronted on the field, about being called a hoe. You know what, Lane?
Yeah.
You are a stone cold hoe. You got both heels up in the air and you're doing your business.
And getting paid a lot of money. You're high end.
A lot of money.
High
God
end.
bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, he not walking Fifth Avenue in Gary, Indiana. He's up in the penthouse somewhere in the Mirage as a hoe. Oh, that's funny. That's pretty good. Thanks for that. That's gonna sustain me the rest of the day, Randy. Thanks, my man. Thanks for
No
coming
problem,
on.
Dan. My pleasure.
He's got his heels up in the air. Getting paid a lot of money to be a hoe. He is. There's different kind of hoes, by the way. We used to go talk to the hoes down on Buckingham Hotel, Gary, Indiana. We did. But that's a different hoe than Lane Kiffin type hoe, heels in the air at the Mirage or the Fontainebleau or wherever. We'll be right back. Woke-a-dope me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Woke-a-dope. Let's do it. Woke-a-dope. AOC has a meltdown when she finds Trump's new ICE agent hotline at the soda fountain. Press for ICE. See what it is there? Man, how about that? How about what we got going on with these young ladies in Congress or wherever the hell they are? What was it? The complete racist dumbass, Jasmine Crockett, talking about Jeffrey Epstein, except he got the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. She got the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know. Maybe her eyelashes got in her eyes and she didn't realize that there could possibly be more than one Jeffrey Epstein. That's funny enough. But this idiot here, who, by the way, I will say is hot until she stands up. A little bit wide in the backside for my taste. But anyway, AOC, she is pressing for ICE. And you know what? I think she got mad. Rumor is, and I'm being facetious, that she beat up an ice machine because it triggered her. Triggered. Such a good word. Next. Jasmine Crockett, I speak 5 languages while you struggle with English. Boy, is that true. America's hottest, Melania Trump, speaks 5 languages. Jasmine Crockett speaks 2. She speaks hood and then she speaks whitey. Most brothers and white dudes speak 2. Most white dudes in the media speak a little bit of brother when they talk to an African American. The sisters talk sister when talking to sisters, and then they try to clean it up, I guess. Is that the way you put it? I don't know. Whiten it up. So Jasmine Crockett actually speaks 2 languages. She speaks little hood sister and little white gal. And it's fascinating. Remember I told the guy, afternoon host here in Indy, why do you change the way you speak when you speak to African Americans? What are you doing? People is people. Speak to them as people. Although I got to tell you, when I do make fun of them damn hillbillies down there in Kentucky, I likes it. I got guys coming at me left and right. It's Indiana going to play Kentucky and them old hilljacks, so I speak a bunch of languages. I can go brother. I can go Caucasian. I can go hillbilly. I can go any way you want. I can go effeminate male. Do anything you want. We all speak a bunch of languages, but you know what? Melania actually speaks 5 very, very well. She's the best, smartest, most beautiful first lady ever, and I want her on cover of every magazine. Next! No one gets angrier than a Democrat when they are accused of something they actually did. That is exactly. Look, the gaslighting's got to stop. I could do a show on that every day. The Democrats, when they come out against something, you know they did it. Like, you know they did it. It's the easiest thing to see, and it's ridiculous. So the latest thing was the America's most effeminate male, Tim Walz, coming out and saying, hey, Trump is unwell. It's the latest in the realm of name calling. Started out with racist and fascist, sexist, you know, all this stuff. King, pedophile. They've tried everything. Very simple. Democrats, do yourself a favor. Get us a good candidate. Get one that puts Americans first. And then let's vote. Let's talk about it. Simple. The name calling. What are we doing? Hey, last thing. Do you ever feel like this? Do you ever watch somebody and you're just pissed off seeing them? Now, I get it. There are a lot of people that do that with me, and I get it. There are some people that do that with a variety of people. Athletes, maybe. You watch somebody or you hear someone talk. I got so pissed off at 2 people, and they're at polar opposites. One, I got so pissed off watching J.J. Watt during the Colts game. He was so bad at his job. But J.J. Watt, make no mistake, is an NFL all-timer, and certainly a machismo adult male with the great American penis. But I got tired of him. He seemed, as I said earlier, like the high school kid wearing the Letterman's jacket that came back to analyze the high school game after he got done playing in junior college. And on the other side of it is America's most feminine male, and we've talked about him a lot today, Tim Walz. Every time I see Tim Walz speak, I get the icks. Like, that dude is a creep. That dude, why did he go over to China so often? That dude has done some things that if they ever came out, would put him in the bad section of jail. That's what I think, allegedly. That's what I see. I think he's a creep. I think he's a cretin. I think he's a liar. I think he's full of crap. And I think he needs to be indicted for just being a jackass and get him off my TV. So there you go. You got 2 sides of it. You got one who I'm tired of because, well, he's just dumb and bad at his job, J.J. Watt, but he is a macho, tough dude. The other is America's lyingest, most effeminate adult male, Tim Walz. He's running the pick 6, remember. Now, 2 sides, 2 guys, 2 different. Can't stand watching them both. There you go. We'll end it with some negativity. Don't at me. See ya.